Hello, Wrestling World. I am Ryan Pimentel. I am here with my good friend Daniel Hatz. And here we are talking about the Monday, May 19th edition of Monday Night Raw. Dan, how did you like the Raw?
More of the same. Barrett's over. There's nothing really noteworthy to say about it, and that's the problem.
That's why we're going to keep this one short, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, it was an interesting show just because it was from London, so you kind of got the good crowd reaction. You got the good rub from the, the excited London crowd. They don't get the WWE very often, so obviously they were very pumped to have, live professional wrestling of the highest caliber in their city. So, you did see the O2 Arena, was definitely a notch above the normal Raw crowd in the United States.
Yeah, I mean, Bray Wyatt was solid. He opens up, talks about his teacher rotting in a home somewhere. He was good. Cena comes out.
Well, Wyatt's always good, it should be noted. I mean, Bray Wyatt at this point is probably the best talker in the business, if not the best. He's certainly in the top 5 in the world in terms of the major workers and major companies. The Wyatts, Cena ends up getting the best of the Wyatts in this segment. What did you think about that?
It's so back and forth. Hopefully, Payback is the final encounter of these two for a while.
Yeah, it's getting kind of stale, I will say that. I'm ready for Wyatt to move on to his next opponent, and I'm ready for Cena to, kind of move on to the next chapter of his career, whatever it may be.
If they're going to turn him, just do it.
Yeah, I mean...
They're not going to, so stop teasing it.
Pretty much. Everybody knows Cena's not going to turn heel, but I think eventually he's going to have to, but that's another story for another podcast.
Adapt or perish.
Yes. So Cesaro versus Sheamus was our first matchup of the night.
It was good to see Cesaro show some personality. They're really pushing him as a heel now, as opposed to a face.
He is clearly defined as a heel now. I mean, coming out of WrestleMania, he wins the big Andre the Giant Battle Royal. I wanted him to be a huge number 2 or 3 in the company face. I thought he could be a breakout star. I still do, but I think they're slowly building him toward a potential spot as the number 1 guy in the company as a face. I think he has all the skills, the talent, the look. Are his verbal skills ready? Paul Heyman can certainly be an asset when it comes to his verbal mic skills. But, I mean, building up to a Cesaro versus Lesnar match with Heyman aligned with Lesnar might not be the worst thing for, Cesaro's first face feud in a few months, whenever that happens, SummerSlam or even next year's WrestleMania. Whenever that happens, whenever they feel the time's right, I just think Cesaro has so much potential. He's really been, in my opinion, the best overall worker in the world, or at least in the company, of 2014 thus far. So I thought it was a solid match with Sheamus. I don't think it was anything spectacular, but I think they have good chemistry if given a little more time. Maybe a few for a title or a few stipulations involved there. I think they could really have a really, really good 15 to 20 minute matchup.
Fair enough. You move on from there to the Beat the Clock Challenge for what I'm calling the tournament title now.
Yeah, it just seems like the Intercontinental title is being, treated in a way where, Big E has it for months and months and months. He loses when he doesn't defend it. He has a bunch of non-title matches and loses those matches. I just think Big E, as he's known now, I think he had no credibility at the end of that run. They have the tournament, and they crown
Big E takes on Ryback in the match. He wins in 5:02. There's not much more to say about it than that. He's not credible at this point.
Big E has been a failure. There's no doubt about that. I mean,
but Cena still believes So
yeah, but the thing is, on if you go to Big E's Instagram or his Twitter or even some of his backstage vignettes on the app or something, Big E has charisma. There's something there, I think, but I just don't think it carries over to TV or even when he's on commentary. He's very, very, very conservative and boring and kind of dull. I just don't think he's confident enough to express his personality. He's kind of a quirky, geeky, funny guy, and I don't think that really is expressed over on TV.
Pretty much. I mean, he's just a big guy on TV. That's all there is to it. Moving on. I mean, I don't want to rush it, but there isn't really much to say about the show this week. R-Truth and Naomi versus Layla and Fandango never actually takes place because Summer Rae returns in a Total Divas push. Plants a kiss on Fandango, and they're planting seeds for Fandango to be a man torn between two women.
Yeah, I mean, in case you haven't watched Total Divas lately, pretty much all you need to know, Season 1, the main villain of the show was Eva Marie. Eva Marie was hated by all the divas. Season 2, Eva Marie has been accepted by the divas, and now the hated diva is Summer Rae. So they've kind of positioned Summer Rae as kind of the top heel on the show. So I wonder if her transition, onto Raw this week is going to lead to another, perhaps heel run. Perhaps she'll be reunited with Fandango after filming her movie. So we'll see what happens with that. It's something worth keeping an eye on.
If you say so. Stephanie McMahon comes out to Daniel Bryan's music. Very enthusiastic about her yes chants.
Oh, yeah. She's hamming it up big time out there. She's throwing her hands in the air. She's, mocking the crowd. She's just playing a really, really, confident, very, very effective heel role right now.
She cuts a good promo, and she wants Daniel to relinquish the title next week on Raw. I don't really see that happening. I think they're just finding a way to drag this out.
Yeah, because the thing is, the title isn't going to Kane. There's no way Kane gets the title, in my opinion. I just don't think. I don't think after the stock news last week, after some financial questions about the network and stuff, I don't think putting the title on Kane for any extended period of time, especially when you only have that one, WWE World Heavyweight Championship, I don't think putting that on Kane is a viable option. If they had two, maybe so. And I don't see them having a tournament either, because they already have a lot of tournaments lately, including the Intercontinental Championship has. It seems like there's been tournaments over the past 2 months, but we'll see what happens on Raw. I'm kind of interested to see what happens with Daniel Bryan. Maybe they'll get a small spike in the ratings for curious Raw viewers like myself.
I'm going to sum this next match up real quick for you. Rusev versus Heath Slater. Rusev squash.
I thought it was pretty interesting because Heath Slater and the 3MB were actually treated as the faces in this match. Doesn't happen very often. They were without Hornswoggle, but I just figure
give credit where credit's due, not where it isn't.
Yeah.
It's filler.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Union Jacks definitely have potential to be, a fun little mid-card act whenever the WWE goes overseas to England. I think, switching them up to the Union Jacks, because they have done it before. The Union Jacks have been together before. So I think that's an interesting, dynamic there. So
you get a promo from the Shield about their no-holds-barred elimination match at Payback.
Yep, and the Shield is on fire lately, in my opinion. I think the Shield and Evolution is having the best feud in WWE so far this year, just because it feels like real gang warfare. There's three guys, 3-on-3, they're going at it, they hate each other. Roman Reigns, is not treated like he's much better than Ambrose or Rollins, you know what I mean? He's not treated like he's the big dog, really, because I think the other two are getting, key moments to shine. So I really love this feud. I think it's so much better than what they're doing with Wyatt and Cena, which is just overbooking the shit out of it.
Tournament title beat the clock challenge match: Van Dam versus Del Rio. Van Dam looks sloppy as all hell on Monday night. I don't know.
Not RVD's sharpest showing.
He looked terrible.
He looked kind of sloppy, yeah.
He ended up winning with 47 seconds left at 4:15. But I mean, if that's the performance that he's going to put on against Barrett, it's not one that I really care to see. Yeah. Then I don't know what happens next.
And then they have you have the Batista versus Seth Rollins match.
You missed a whole segment.
What did I miss? I don't think I missed anything.
Cena backstage with Renee Young.
Yeah, but that was kind of just filler with Cena and the Usos and whatnot.
And they're chanting.
Oh yeah, they're chanting and they're groaning and moaning and
making a joke out of the whole thing, per usual.
Yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of the Cena character, or the Usos for that matter.
Yeah, go on. Rollins and Batista DQ win for Rollins. Like you said, gang warfare breaks out.
Yeah, all hell breaks loose. I think Batista actually looks, Batista has gotten better since he returned.
Absolutely.
He's not winded as much anymore. He's still winded in small spots, but it really is barely noticeable. He looks pretty sharp out there. He looks like old Batista to me, minus all that muscle mass that he had before he returned. So he looks like he's finally in presentable ring shape. So I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to see Rollins look strong as well. It was a solid match between the two. Certainly nothing that I'd run out to watch again, but definitely a cut above the previous RVD match.
They led on to the fact, which they've been doing lately with a lot of stuff, and it looks like crap when they do it, because they led on to the fact that only authorized personnel, or however they worded it, were allowed at ringside, and before the match starts, Randy Orton becomes the timekeeper, and Triple H is the special ref? Or no, he was like I don't even know. He's the guest ring announcer. There it is.
Yeah.
And then, totally throwing everything off. Seth Rollins. Damn dog. Seth Rollins calls out the Shield as special guest commentators. Why waste my time barring everybody from ringside? It's stupid. Either way, solid showing from both sides. And then you move on to the Divas. The one Divas segment of the night that doesn't have to do with Total Divas. And that's Alicia Fox versus Paige. Alicia Fox picks up the victory. And once again, shows some personality. She's the wearer of many hats at this point.
Yeah, I personally, I'm a big fan of Alicia Fox. I've always been a fan. She's very athletic. She's very talented. When they give her time, she's always capable. Now she's actually starting to show personality, and they're giving her stuff to do. And I think Alicia Fox could take over that Divas division and really set up for a one-on-one with Paige that actually means something on a pay-per-view. Which, if you would have told me that 3 or 4 weeks ago, I would have laughed in your face. But Alicia Fox is becoming, a very entertaining presence on the Divas roster, and I'm personally happy to see it.
You sound terribly condescending tonight.
I'm serious though. Alicia Fox, she's given stuff to do. She's very funny in that kind of heel role. Her outbursts are random and hilarious, and I'm enjoying it personally. I don't know about you. I don't know if you like the new Alicia Fox, but I tell you what, at least she's given something.
It's more interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. At least they're giving her something to do, because for so many years, Alicia Fox was just there, and she would just wrestle as the random heel in six woman tag team matches. she would have absolutely no character, no gimmick, no semblance of life in that character. Finally, the writers must have seen a spark in her and must have, said, why not try something with her? And I absolutely agree, because I think every wrestler on the roster should have at least one calling card. And to me, these Alicia Fox outbursts are some of the best, diva moments we've seen in quite a long time, or at least since AJ Lee was at her peak.
Right.
And I think obviously I think they're setting up to a Paige Alicia Fox matchup. And like I said before, I think they could slot that right into a pay-per-view, and I don't think it'd be that out of place.
Fair enough. Beat the clock. Once again, Mark Henry and Dolph Ziggler go to no contest. They run out of time. Ziggler looks strong in this for the match. Usually he just, gets buried. Anyways, the bigger story here is RVD comes out and gets attacked by Barrett. And then Barrett cuts a promo calling RVD a yak. Yeah, and Barrett obviously over with the London crowd, etc., etc.
Oh yeah, I mean Barrett's doing great work. He's kind of like Alicia Fox, lost in the shuffle. He's slowly starting to come into his own and starting to kind of establish a niche for himself on the roster. And I think it's great for Alicia Fox and Wade Barrett to finally find a place where they can excel on the roster, and the crowd seems to be buying into them more and more and more. And it seems like they both have some futures in the company.
Alicia Fox, Jesus Christ, leave it alone.
I'm sorry, she's really been quite impressive the last few weeks. Really has stole the...
Okay, alright, who gives a shit? It's a women's division.
Yeah, but
it's a dead division.
Alicia Fox is on
fair.
Alicia Fox is on the rise. Remember I said that, because one of the best matches I've seen in recent
Rise
years.
and fall. She isn't taking the title anytime soon.
True. But you gotta remember, some of her classic matches against Melina.
Shut the hell up.
All right, moving on.
Probably your favorite segment of the night.
Alicia Fox?
Renee Young and Adam Rose.
Oh, don't be a lemon, be a rose, bud.
Jesus. In-ring promo from Rose. You still don't know really much about him other than he likes to party. I don't really see this gimmick being anything huge, but the London crowd did eat it up. Him and Swagger, they end up in a scuffle at some point here. But, I mean, the London crowd ate it up, and the curious thing about it is, does this transition well next week? Will next week's crowd, pick up where London left off? I don't see it happening.
No,
but
this is a special occasion in my book. It's in London. They have their own thing going on. So
right, they're just excited to be there. They'll cheer for anybody.
Yeah, especially somebody who Adam Rose has he has an English accent, and he kind of has a European flair. He kind of reminds me of like a hooligan at a English soccer match or something.
And then, that actually takes us straight to the main event here, which, honestly, who gives a good shit about this match? I mean, I don't give a flying fuck.
Yeah.
Luke Harper versus John Cena. It's just John Cena versus insert Wyatt family member here. It's done. It's dead. Give it up.
But Luke Harper, you got to give him credit, because he did look very, very good.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Luke Harper or, Bray Wyatt or Eric Rowan. I'm just saying, it's been done to death. Enough's enough. I mean, give us something different. Ultimately, the winner by disqualification, John Cena. After the bell, I mean, Cena fights off the Wyatts, but they overpower him, and he gets a Sister Abigail on the stage, I believe. Yep. Bray takes the mic, sings along, or the crowd sings along with him as Rowan counts to 10, and that's how Raw goes off the air this week. There's not much more you can say about it. I mean, it's been done. I get it. Just get on with it and wrap it up.
Yeah, I think Payback is if they continue this Cena Wyatt feud any longer, I just think fans are going to get impatient. Fans are, enough is enough is enough. Just end the Wyatt Cena feud at Payback. Nail in the coffin either way. Cena's obviously going to win. Just end it, in my opinion. But anyway,
yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, also, I don't know. You have any other thoughts on? I mean, that's Raw this week, so that's all of Raw. Any other thoughts on anything at all in wrestling? I know there was a brief dialogue with Jim Cornette this week on Twitter. He told us that he thinks TNA is dead, or more appropriately, as he put it, lights out, party's over.
Yeah, it's a From the Cheap Seats exclusive, folks. Jim Cornette thinks TNA is done.
It's a fair assessment in my book.
TNA, in my opinion, has never been a good company. They've always been average or below. Right now, it's just a pathetic product. They're losing wrestlers left and right, and I would be surprised if they lasted another year in this state. I really would.
I mean, as far as my problem with it is, they're so bad. It's like a car accident. You don't want to look, but you have to. I mean, I'm curious to sit down with you this week and watch the train wreck.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's kind of like passing a terrible car accident on a highway. You kind of cover your eyes, but you kind of peek through the cracks in your fingers because you kind of want to see the wreckage. You kind of want to see the damage inflicted on these cars and on these people and on the overall area. That's what TNA Impact is. You want to see how bad, how low the low can go. They are scraping the bottom of the barrel right now, and boy, is it fun to watch because they have not a clue what they are doing. Who would have ever thought that Bischoff, Hogan, and Russo would be missed?
I can't argue that. What else we got? Legends House. That was entertaining this week. I don't know. There's not much else. I mean, wrestling this week has been pretty slow and dull. I mean, we'll be checking out the rest of the week, obviously, but I don't see anything. Hogan plugs the network on SmackDown for the UK, so that's coming there. You got anything?
I think that's it. It's been a really slow week in wrestling. So, other than TNA tomorrow, ROH had a pay-per-view last week against New Japan. You can look online for results of that. We weren't able to cover that pay-per-view, but we will be covering Ring of Honor in future editions, as well as the new upstart Jeff Jarrett promotion, Global Force Wrestling. So look out for that. And yeah, that's all I have to say. And as always, you can find us on YouTube. Email ch3apseats@gmail.com. That's ch3apseats@gmail.com. Our Twitter address is @FT_cheapseats. That's @FT_cheapseats. Please follow us, comment, ask questions, let us know how we're doing. We will respond to every question you have. Sometimes even on the show, you leave your name and your hometown. We will give you the proper credit. I am Ryan Pimentel. This is my friend, Daniel Hatt. Keep watching wrestling.